Hey, we're back. It's been decades. I don't know, a long time. Schedules, But anyway, we're back with a new video tonight. This is probably going to be like a level 3 because this is a little more complicated than my usual. Throw a couple things in and here we go. We're making Lobster Bisque tonight. First time. Hope it's good. If it's not, this won't make the YouTube channel. I'm over here right now melting. I'm putting in about 5 tablespoons of butter. It's melted. If you hear little noises and see the camera go, my videographer got the hiccups right before we started this. So if the camera jumps up and down, it's not me doing that. I'm not sinking and going down. It's her. Anyway, so in the lobster bisque, we're going to have 2 stalks of celery. Chopped up, 2 carrots chopped up, an onion, a medium onion chopped up, a couple 3 cloves of garlic. There's going to be some tomato paste. There's going to be some salt and pepper. There's going to be some sprigs of thyme. There's going to be some bay leaves. There's going to be seafood stock. Usually I'm using chicken stock for my soup, but we use seafood stock for this. There'll be some white wine. There'll be some heavy cream, some all-purpose flour, and of course, lobster. And I am going a little bit the easy route here. I bought the lobster chunks frozen at the store, 1 pound. I'm not gonna go boil lobster and pull it all apart and chop it up and buy it frozen, thaw it out. It was 2 8-ounce bags for 1 pound. So it's thawed out, ready to go in, but it doesn't go in and the cream doesn't go in until the very end of this whole thing. So we'll just get it started here. I'm gonna get that butter melted around a little bit more, and in goes the celery, the carrots, and the onions will all go in at once. We will let them kind of soften and cook at a medium heat until they've all kind of softened up. It's gonna take, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes. So we'll get that in, and then I'll stir it around, get it all together. And once I've done that, I'm gonna grab up, get the melted butter coating the veggies. And even though these are big chunks, before the night is out, this actually all ends up getting pureed. Before we put the lobster in, get the whole soup simmering and all that. It's all put together, except for the lobster and the cream. We're gonna throw it in a blender, puree it, get it nice and smooth. It goes back in, and then the cream and lobster goes in just to heat that up a little bit. So you won't see the big chunks once we're all done here. The big chunks will be all pureed out. So. All right, I'm gonna cover this, let it simmer on medium heat, and we will be back with the next step in just a minute. Okay, everybody all together. Okay, all right. So next step for this is to add a little salt and pepper. Now, obviously it's a taste. They don't have measurement. They said 1 salt and 1 pepper. I'm presuming they don't mean 1 grain. So I tried to go a little light the first time around. So it's probably maybe half a teaspoon or maybe a little more than a teaspoon. For the salt, same with the pepper, because you can always add more, but you can't take it out. So about that much pepper. Sprinkle that in. And later when we get towards the end, I can retaste it and decide if it needs a little more oomph. Okay, so now in goes the garlic. That was a couple of 3 cloves of garlic. The recipe calls for 2, but come on. And then tomato paste. And that, so usually I have the cans of tomato paste, big. You need 2 tablespoons. You take out the 2 tablespoons of these cans, and it's like 7 tablespoons. So you never use the rest of it. It ends up going to waste unless you're like making soups all the time that need tomato paste. Found these, and my wife found these, and so much easier because you can square out the tablespoon and then recap it, and it saves for a rainy day. So handy. I'm glad they make these. It was the stupidest little thing that they would make these cans so large when you never use a can like that. All right, now the garlic and the tomato paste is in. We're going to mix this all around and let that tomato paste melt with the heat, because we want it to kind of coat all the veggies that are in there. Keep stirring it, mixing it, trying to get that red color evenly distributed amongst all the veggies in there. And we're going to let that kind of heat for just a minute or so. And once that is in, we're going to put in a couple tablespoons of flour, all-purpose flour. Let that heat for just a minute. Some kind of chunks of tomato paste. I want to break that up some if I can. Although again, it's all going to be pureed eventually, so it should be fine. All right, so that's good. So now 2 tablespoons of flour, all-purpose flour. One. 2. And now we'll stir this around. Get the flour over everything. Cook that for another minute or so, then the seafood stock and the wine will go in. And once that is in, we'll put in the bay leaf and the three sprigs of thyme. I don't know, 4, 2. It says 3, so we'll use 3. And 1 bay leaf, which I've always wondered. So here's a bay leaf, but it's a little broken up. Is that a bay leaf or is that a bay leaf? I mean, it's not a full bay leaf. There's a half a bay leaf. So really, when they say 1 bay leaf, what the hell are they talking about? They're all broken in here. There's not like 1 big bay leaf you can use. So I don't know. Anyway, put in like these 2 little broken pieces and hope that's good. All right, this has been cooking for that extra minute. In goes 4 cups, 32 ounces of seafood stock. Then I'll pour it in there. And then 1 1/4 cups of white wine, which, yeah, they're probably white wine. There's probably small bottles of white wine that I could buy. We've had these given to us over the years. We're not wine drinkers, but I have to open up a whole bottle of wine to put in 1 1/4 cups, so the wines end up getting wasted. I don't get wasted. The wines get wasted. Okay. Maybe my wife did break into the wine with those hiccups. Maybe she's already been imbibing. Okay, 1 1/4 cups. And a little more. Stir that all together. In go the whatever bay leaf fish and 3 sprigs of thyme. 1, 2, 3. Again, don't know if 3 is the magic number. Apparently it is. That's what the recipe calls for. So in goes 3. Eventually they have to all come back out. You don't leave those in your soup or bisque. So we'll let that heat up there for a minute. We're going to now cover it. We're going to reduce the heat a little bit, and we're going to let it simmer for about 30 minutes. So this isn't a real quick recipe. We're going to let it get going, simmering about 30 minutes. When we come back, we will finish up the rest of this, which is going to put in the blender and puree it, make it nice and smooth. Put in the cream and the lobster. I've got some French bread I'm going to heat up so we can have some bread with our bisque. We're going to have some chives that kind of get sprinkled at the end on top of the bisque. Chives. Makes me think of a very odd police story when I was on the police force, but that's for a different time and a different place. Really weird story. Anyway, we'll put some chives on it. We'll have the bread, and then we'll have some hopefully really good lobster bisque. So we'll see you in your time momentarily, in my time in about 30 minutes. All right, so it's been about 30 minutes. Letting this simmer for that whole time, stirring it occasionally. Every, I don't know, 5 minutes or so I've gone and stirred it. So now we take out the thyme and the bay leaves, if we can find everything in here. Let's see. Of course, you know, it's a little difficult because you can't actually, you know what? We're just gonna do this, hold on, stand by. You put these things when I pull them out, you need to put them somewhere, but if I can get that without burning my hand here. There's 1 sprig of thyme. And there looks like another sprig of thyme. And there's the other sprig of thyme, 2 of them. Okay, now the bay leaves, which, oh, another piece of a sprig there. We put 3 in, but they can obviously break apart a little bit. And, oh, there's 1 of the bay leaf chunks. And now, can I find the last one? Yep, right there. All right, got them all. All right, now comes the tricky part of trying to get this all into a blender without making a complete utter mess. So I'm going to turn the heat off for a minute. I think for right the moment, I'm going to just try to use a ladle to get a lot of it in, and then I will pour the rest when we're down some, so that I'm not trying to pour a whole pot of liquid into this blender. Tricky part here, like trying to spill it all over the stove too. All right, we got almost all that in. Pour the rest of this like this, won't make a mess. All right, lid on. A little bit down the side. We'll get this plate up here. All right, and we will make sure the lid's on good and tight. Make sure that little pluggy thing's on good and tight. Start small. And then kind of took off under there. Let's see if that's good and smooth. Looks to be. Yep. No chunks there. So back into the pot it goes. Set that off to the side. And now, we pull up with that mess there. I'm gonna put the medium heat back on. Get that ready to go. And now we put in the lobster pieces, which are over here thawed. Put in, and these are already pre-cooked lobster pieces, so you don't have to worry about it. All we're going to do is heat these things up, and then we put in the cream, which this is 1 cup, but we're actually only putting in a half of it. So put in about a half a cup, so about half this container. Like so. Stir it all together. And then we're going to let it heat for about 5 minutes so that because that shrimp was still cold. I had rinsed it off. The way you thaw it is to basically rinse it in cold water for a while, so it's still cold. So we're just going to let that sit for about 5 minutes. Kind of let it simmer just a little bit. You just want to heat the cream and the lobster all the way through. I'm going to stick the bread in. I've got the bread ready to go. I turned the oven on at 400 degrees, so I'm going to put the bread in here. And we should have bread and lobster bisque momentarily. So we'll see in a minute. Okay, getting a little, the toast is nice and, or the bread is nice and toasty. Getting some butter on there. The butter's been sitting out since I started this whole thing, so it's soft enough to spread it well on the bread without tearing the crud out of the bread. As you can see, the bisque is simmering, ready to be spooned in. Although I will probably do a quick taste test in the pot, just to see if any more salt and or pepper, or maybe even a little bit of wine needs to be added in to kind of boost the taste a little bit. So I'll do that as soon as this bread is properly buttered. And then all right, let's turn the heat completely off. Let's dip a spoon into the cauldron here but you know, this time I'm going to let it cool for a bit before I actually taste it. Last time I burned the heck out of myself, and I think it just healed yesterday. So we're going to let this cool for just a minute here. I'm going to blow on it. Smells good. I hate burning myself on camera, so. Okay. I think it's pretty good the way it is. Yeah, that's really good. So, okay, we have lobster bisque. I'm gonna ladle some out here for my wife and for myself. That's really good, yeah. And one for me. All right, that. We're going to have some chives sprinkled on top. Got to have the garnishment there, kind of make it look professional. And get a couple of plates out. There. Some bread. And I think we are ready for dinner. So there's some lobster bisque. It tastes really good. I'm pleased with the turnout here on this one. So hopefully you guys will give it a try and enjoy it. And if so, make sure you comment and let me know, okay? All right, we'll see you next time.